For decades, the deal was simple. You bought a game and it was yours. But now, something is changing. The way we play is being rewritten by a single, powerful idea. Subscription gaming is here, and it's reshaping the entire industry. For decades, owning a game was simple. Buy it, play it, and it's yours forever. Is this the future of gaming? A world where you pay a small monthly fee and have access to hundreds of games? Or is it a dangerous shift that threatens the creativity and future of the industry itself? But now, a massive shift is happening. Subscription services are revolutionizing how we experience gaming, offering an all-you-can-play buffet at our fingertips. As players embrace this new model, the industry is at a crossroads. Will this be the dawn of a new era for gaming? Or the end of the creative spark that built it? Yet not everyone is celebrating this change. Is this Netflix-like model the bright future we hoped for? Or a hidden threat to the very soul of gaming?
All right, let's get right into it. The way we play video games is going through a massive, and I mean massive, shift. For decades, the deal was simple. You bought a game and it was yours. But that's changing, and it's changing fast. The entire gaming world is being totally reshaped by one single, powerful idea: the subscription service. You've seen it happen before, right? Netflix completely changed how we watch movies. Spotify turned the music industry on its head, and now services like Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Plus are doing the exact same thing to gaming. The all-you-can-play buffet is officially here. But, and this is a big but, this revolution is not something everyone is celebrating.
And there it is. That's the heart of the whole conflict. This isn't just some random opinion from a forum. This is from Rafael Colantonio, the founder of Arcane Studios. You know, the brilliant minds behind games like Dishonored and Prey. It's a pretty stark warning that this new model, which millions of us players absolutely love, could actually be a ticking time bomb for the industry itself.
So that really is the big question we're digging into. Is this Netflix for games thing the bright, affordable future we've all been hoping for? Or is it kinda a hidden threat, one that's slowly chipping away at the value of games and the creative health of the people who pour their lives into making them?
Okay, first things first. Let's talk about why this model has gotten so incredibly popular. To really get the controversy, you have to understand the appeal. What is this all-you-can-play promise that has millions of gamers, maybe even you, signing up in droves?
At its core, the idea is super simple. Instead of dropping a big chunk of cash on one game, you're paying a smaller, regular fee. It's a huge shift from owning a product to, well, just having access to a service.
And this really gets to the heart of the change, doesn't it? The traditional way was all about building your own personal library, games you own forever. The subscription model, it's all about access to this giant, always-changing catalog that you're basically just renting. You're trading that feeling of permanence for endless variety.
And for players, you can't deny the benefits. For the price of a fancy coffee or two, you get access to hundreds of games. It means you can try out that weird indie title you'd never risk buying. Even better, you can play massive new blockbuster games on the very day they launch, all without having to shell out $70. It's a predictable monthly cost for what feels like an endless stream of fun.
Now for the businesses, this model is just as tempting. Instead of that whole boom and bust roller coaster of individual game launches, subscriptions give them a steady, predictable stream of money. It lets them build real long-term relationships with customers, and, this is huge, gather tons of valuable data on what we play, how long we play for, and when we decide to stop.
So it's a win-win, right? Players get amazing value, companies get stability, everybody's happy.
Well, as it turns out, there are some pretty serious hidden costs and controversies bubbling just under the surface.
This comment from a Reddit user just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly explains the crucial difference between gaming and other media. That whole Netflix for games comparison, it really starts to fall apart when you think about the single most precious resource a gamer has, their time.
And the time commitment is, frankly, staggering. You could watch an entire season of a TV show in the time it takes to get through just the opening act of many modern games. A single big-budget game can demand 40, 60, even 100 hours of your life. It is literally impossible to consume games the same way you binge-watch movies. It's not even close.
This time factor creates huge risks for the companies too. The biggest monster they face is something called churn. That's when customers cancel after they've burned through the one big game they signed up for. To fight that, companies are under this immense pressure to constantly add new, shiny content. And that can devalue the very blockbuster games they rely on and totally cannibalize direct sales. I mean, why buy the game for $70 when you can just play it for $15?
And all that pressure, it lands right on the shoulders of the developers. A question brought up by a former PlayStation executive really highlights the human cost. He asked if this model risks turning creative artists into, well, wage slaves. The big fear is that this endless hunger for content will start to prioritize quantity over quality, forcing developers to just feed the machine instead of taking the time and risk to create the next masterpiece.
So, why does all of this matter so much? Because we're not talking about some niche hobby here. We are talking about a gigantic, global industry where the stakes are measured in billions of dollars and hundreds of thousands of jobs. This is a high-stakes gamble with very real-world consequences. Just take a second and look at that number. $101 billion. According to the Entertainment Software Association, that's the annual economic impact of the video game industry in the US alone. It is an absolute powerhouse. And behind that insane number are people, real people. The industry supports over 350,000 jobs in the US. We're talking designers, programmers, artists, testers, all folks whose livelihoods depend on the health of this business.
And look, this isn't just happening in a couple of places. Yeah, you have the big hubs like California and Washington employing tens of thousands, but it's a truly nationwide industry. The decisions made about these business models, they have a direct impact on communities all across the country.
So all of this brings us to the future. We've seen the incredible promise of subscription gaming, we really have. But we've also stared into some of the serious potential pitfalls. This is, without a doubt, a defining moment for the future of how we all play.
And here is the dilemma, just laid out plain and simple. For us, the players, it's an incredible deal. You just can't beat the value and convenience. But for the industry, it's a massive gamble. It's one that risks devaluing the very art form at its core and putting completely unsustainable pressure on the creators we all depend on.
So the real takeaway here isn't that subscriptions are just good or bad. It's that they represent this monumental change with incredibly complex trade-offs for everybody. What might be great for our wallets right now could have these profound, lasting consequences for the games we'll be playing or maybe not playing down the road.
Which leaves us with one final and, I think, crucial question to ponder. When every game is just part of a low monthly fee, when a game's value is measured by how many hours you play it to justify that subscription, and when developers are rewarded for just keeping you engaged instead of for pure artistry, in that kind of all-you-can-play world, who is going to be willing to take the billion-dollar risk required to create the next masterpiece?